What's up, guys? Welcome back to a new video, and this is it, guys. We got 2 weeks left before the presidential election, and what do you expect? It's a nail-biter. It is down to the wire here in the final 2 weeks, and we're just going to talk about some of the interesting developments on the front over the last week or two. Now, I'm sure most of you guys saw Trump was actually at a campaign stop at a McDonald's in Pennsylvania, which is pretty interesting. I mean, I saw a lot of people on the left saying, "Oh, this was not a smart move. It was tone deaf. He's a rich guy." I mean, yeah, okay, it was, and yeah, it was obviously staged, guys. Like, no kidding, it was staged. But it kind of looks good. I think a lot of people see that and say, "Oh, Trump, it's funny." And then, of course, they ask him the question about the minimum wage on substance, and he says, and he doesn't answer. He dodges a question about whether or not he'll raise minimum wage, which is very ironic, obviously, for a multitude of reasons. But people don't really care about that. I mean, most voters, I mean, the optics of it, it's, oh, Trump McDonald's is funny. Now, again, another thing on the front, he also went to the Steeler game with, I think it was Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell. Is it really a great idea to be surrounding himself with Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell or especially Antonio Brown over the last couple of years? I don't know if that's the smartest thing, but he did it. He was at the Steeler game, posted an AI photo of him. And again, guys, the media, they jump on this stuff. They get baited by Trump. It's amazing, of him in this AI photo. And Newsweek did an article saying, "Oh, it appears to be AI of Trump, jacked like a football player." Like, yeah, no kidding, guys. Trump's not a football player, 260 pounds and jacked. Like, obviously it's AI. But as far as down to the wire, there's some things that we got to discuss here because there's been some super interesting developments on that front. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of Polymarket, which is basically this betting site where you can bet on all things politics, like Iran, whether or not they'll respond to the recent attack, when they'll do it, will Trump say a certain number of words at his rally? Like, it's kind of ridiculous. But of course, you can also bet on the presidential election, and it's pretty amazing, guys. I mean, we saw after the debate on Polymarket, because I've been following it for a while now, you saw it was around 50-50, then Kamala took a quick lead, or a small lead, 52-48, and it's kind of been like that for the last few months. Very close to each other. But then the last 2 weeks specifically, and again, Trump has definitely had a polling edge, a little bit of a polling bump, which we'll talk about in a minute, but Trump now on Polymarket, and this has been a surge in the last 2 weeks here. Trump has a 64% chance, according to the betting markets, of winning the presidency. Now, this comes after Elon Musk posted basically saying, "Oh, Trump's the favorite." And ever since then, the market's been flooded with bets for Trump, and of course, Trump's odds go up. And you have a lot of MAGA people posting this as if this means, "Oh, Trump's going to win." I mean, guys, let's just take politics out of it. 64%? There's no way. There's no way. It's all of these guys, Nate Silver, they have Harris at 52%. Like, there's no way Trump has a 2/3 chance of winning. There's 100% value on Harris there. Just take the politics out of it. I mean, Harris has at least a 45% chance. And the polls suggest that too. I mean, Trump has gotten a bump, but it's not like Trump is cleaning out. I mean, it's ridiculous. Now, the interesting thing about this too is the reason why the market shifted, again, the way it works is, you have major bets coming in that'll shift the line. So apparently we've seen 4 separate $30 million bets on Polymarket. Many people think it's the same person on Trump. Now, that's kind of bizarre. If actually there's a single person, $120 million bet on Trump, very strange. I don't know if that's a great. Again, it raises the question of ethics and who even is this person? Is it a foreigner? We just don't know. It's very suspicious, though. There's no question about it. Is it Musk himself, which I've seen people suggest, but who knows? It's just speculation. Now, but that's just interesting. Trump has a surge in the betting markets. I think there's good value in Harris on that front. I'm not saying that doesn't mean Trump's not going to win, but a 2/3 chance of winning, I don't know. Seems a little much to me. And there's just no way. You get value at Harris, no question. Now, and let's just take and we'll get into that right now. Let's look at the polling averages here. I mean, Trump is up in a lot of cases, and it is interesting. Harris has definitely slipped, and she's in trouble, guys. There's no question. She needs to figure it out, and she needs to figure it out fast. Now, Now, let's just look here. According to the polling, the Real Clear Politics average, we have Harris or Trump up 1.2 in Michigan. And again, by the way, guys, These are the polling averages. A lot of polls are better than others. So the New York Times, CNN is some of the best polling. They have some good numbers for Harris. But there's a lot of right-wing polls as well that a lot of people say are fudging the polling averages. But regardless, it's still very close. Michigan, Trump plus 1.2. Pennsylvania, Trump plus 0.8. Wisconsin, Trump plus half a point. Arizona, Trump plus 1.5. North Carolina, which is pretty interesting because a lot of people think this is definitely a Trump state, only up by less than half a point. Georgia, Trump up 2. Guys, all of these averages are within the margin of error pretty much. They're all within the margin of error. So it's basically, what that means is they account for the percentages being off because obviously a poll is not going to be 100% correct. Basically what it's saying is it's a toss-up. All the battleground states are toss-ups. So, I mean, yeah, Trump might have a tick of an edge, but guys, nobody knows who's winning right now. It's going to be a very close election. There's no question about it. But there are troubling signs for Harris. I mean, if you look at comparisons to some of the former candidates of the past, 2020 versus 2016, we see, and again, it's very interesting, national average. Harris is up 0.8 in the national average. She needs to win by more than that if she's going to be elected president. There's no question about it. In 2020, at this point, Biden was up 8.6. Huge disparity. It's just a huge disparity, guys. Now, again, one thing that people are not really talking about as much for some reason is polling has adjusted because Trump did well. Trump obviously overperformed the polling in 2016, and he overperformed it in 2020 as well, significantly. So a lot of the polling companies had to adjust their polling. Now, again, there's a lot of science and political science that goes into this, but they were adjusted, and you kind of saw that in 2022 also, where the reverse happened. The Democrats' performance was undercounted significantly. It was supposed to be a red wave. The Democrats did way better than expected, guys. Now, again, to be fair, though, Trump's been on the ballot twice, and he's overperformed twice. Could we see it happen again? No question about it. But people just assuming that Trump's going to overperform in the polls, I just think it's not based on anything. I mean, the polling has changed, guys. The polling science has changed. And if you ask me, if I was just a betting man, and we'll come out with a prediction before the election, I don't think Trump's going to be within a half point of the popular vote. Do you? Doesn't seem likely to me. But the only sure thing we got here is it's a very close race, and we got 2 weeks left, and it's going to be a hell of a 2 weeks. We've talked about the Iran situation, and whenever that happens, we'll get that to you immediately. But it's a very close race, and of course, according to polling, it's going to be closer than Biden and Trump, closer than Clinton Trump. Well, the polling was off actually in that one, but that was one where it really changed the game, the 2016 election. But it's a close race, as anyone expected, and the polling will, I'm sure, shift a little bit up until the election, but it's going to be close, and the polls will be very close right on election day, and we just got to see and let it play out. But I think it's like a 50-50 race right now, which is why I'm saying Trump's odds on the poly market is 67%. It's ridiculous. It's a 50-50 race, guys. It's a 50-50 race. But we'll see what happens, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll get something out to you tomorrow or the next day, depending on the news. So, all right, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in a bit.